Greetings, YouTube! I am so excited to put this video out today because you are staring at my favorite champion in the game, someone that I enjoy playing with more than anyone else, even my Blade, even my Star-Lord, even my Iceman, and you might be wondering why. Well, today's video is really aimed at answering that question, and this is also for newer players who have messaged me privately on the Line app and have said, Prof. Hoff, I just opened Quake, I heard you're a fan of hers, I have no idea why she's so good. So this is not really as much of a gameplay video, although I'll show you a little bit of that, as much as it is these are the specific nodes or the specific champions that if you're struggling against, bring Quake, and once you master her abilities, you will have such a happy life. So, first things first, this is my best Quake, my 4-star, rank 5 Quake, Sig 99. Her PI is through the roof, so she's also worth a ton of arena points, which I very much appreciate as someone that grinds the arena every week. And I want to point out in the first chapter of this video that if I'm going against, especially in Alliance War, but this can be extended to so many things from Alliance Quest to questing in general, and certainly as relevant as it is right now, the 6-star boss rush challenge, Quake is the MVP. And I love to bring Quake when I don't have my Blade, especially against Mystic Champs, against Stunnable. And the keyword is Stunnable because if they're not Stunnable, Quake loses most of her value and really there is no argument to be made then. But if they're Stunnable, and most nodes are, you can take on Nightcrawlers, Original Spider-Man, MODOK, Magic, Dormammu, Mephisto, Morningstar, and Electro. And if those champions have caused you serious pain in the past, Quake is your answer to make them go down a lot easier. But besides that, I want to point out that the God tier really, in my mind, is broken into two discussions. The most popular discussion is which champions hit the hardest and cause the most damage. Quake is absolutely not in that discussion. You're going to talk about people like Star-Lord, the Holy Triumvirate of Stark Spidey, Blade, and Ghost Rider especially together, along with Medusa, Hyperion, and then even the likes of Archangel, Wolverine, and Scarlet Witch. All of those champions will cause far more damage than Quake, and she does not belong in that conversation. But we know that Kabam likes to give us a challenge in the form of nodes that really neuter so many of those top-tier, God-tier champions. And so there's a second God-tier category that's highly underrated, and that's who I put Quake at the top of, and that's the utility category, meaning she can take on specific nodes that might cause someone like a Star-Lord to lose most of their value, and where Star-Lord loses his value, Quake gains her value. So, Prof, what the heck are you talking about? Well, I've written down some nodes that I want to talk about. Specifically, the nodes of Power Gain, Unblockable Specials, Spiked Armor, Thorns, and the most popular part of this conversation because of the latest boss, I always say this wrong, Boss Rush Challenge. The one that was created by the content creators and Dorkity Diggity Dave himself, it's also a hard name to say, gave us the final boss of Iceman, which those of you who have been through this, what made that fight so challenging was Safeguard, which does not allow you to cause more than 1% of damage per hit, making those God-tier champs, especially like Medusa and even Stark Spidey and Blade, pretty much average at best. But Quake bypasses Safeguard, and in order to show this, the Analyzer, who I believe is bar none the best most skilled fighter on YouTube, and I'm going to put this link in the description box below that you're seeing now, took on Iceman, chose Quake as his top choice, and just completely decimated Iceman without ever being hit. Actually, he wasn't hit. So impressive in any of the fights. And what this did was it showed that the Aftershock charges allowed Quake to bypass Safeguard. And so suddenly you have this character that you don't actually have to even hit the opponent to cause damage, and you're just making that node that's causing you so much stress, and really when I say stress, I mean potions and revives, and you're making your life so much easier. The third reason why I'm bringing this to your attention now is that if you haven't been following along, you're going to be in for a rude awakening when Sentinels replace Symbioids in Alliance Quest in the next week. Now, there are several ways to counter Sentinels, and I've made a separate video on 10 champions that can. Now, Quake is a unique champion because, again, she doesn't need to cause damage or inflict direct hits in order to drain the energy and health of an opponent. So, when it comes to Quake, no attacks equal no analysis on Sentinels. And this gives you the freedom to take down the health fast while not giving the AI for that opponent the ability to basically become unblockable and make it harder for you to cause as much damage. So again, Quake, if you're talking about the God tier in the traditional sense of Labyrinth of Legends or Road to Labyrinth or even Act 4 and Act 5 to cause major damage, when nodes are not in play, she's not part of that conversation, and that's a losing argument every time. But if you are talking about a champion that has the most utility, meaning the most ability to counter unique champions in Alliance War that cause a lot of issues, as well as those terrible nodes like Power Gain and Unblockable Special, Spiked Armor, Thorns, and Safeguard, Quake is the champion for you. And personally, I think it's so much fun to toy with the opponent and to basically have... It reminds me of the old GoldenEye Nintendo 64 game where you'd lay like proximity mines or remote mines, and then once they got close, it would explode. That's kind of how I feel with Quake, because if you have up to 14 or 15 actual charges on the opponent and then they explode or detonate, you're going to have so much physical damage per second, and those aftershocks are going to mean everything. And again, you're going to have fun because you don't even have to hit the opponent. So special thanks to the Analyzer for helping to put out that amazing video that showed Quake's ability to bypass Safeguard, even Safeguard on an amazing champion like Iceman. And I just want to say, I know that when you say things like God tier, there's a huge debate, but hopefully this video shows you that even if you are not a fan of Quake, she still has so much value in the game. And I appreciate everyone's comments, even if you adamantly disagree with me, because the point of a community is to have, hopefully, respectful debate. And I also want to say, in case you're wondering, I think that Void has just about as much utility as Quake, and I never said that Void wasn't a God tier champion, just that she wasn't the first Science God tier champion. I don't know why I just made Void a female in that sentence. I believe Void is a male, so my apologies. Let's just void that last sentence. Thanks for watching, YouTube. Good luck, and I hope you plan on bringing Quake into your latest difficult content. And for those of you who are new to the game, I hope you open a Quake, even a 3-star Quake very soon, because your enjoyment of the game, I guarantee you, will go up just as mine has since I opened my Quake this year.